This is not a battle for your guns. This is not a battle for your nation. This is not a battle for even your body. This is a battle for your soul. We, the people, collectively, have been duped to believe an artificial belief system as to the true nature of God and the way things are actually operating here down in this wicked, wicked kingdom. See, you can lose yourself very fast if you only consume information that pertains to threat to your physical survival. You can be misled very easily if you subscribe to some sort of ridiculous belief system that this is a system of control that's simply been organized by the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, the Rothschilds, the Warburg family, Barack Obama, George Bush, the royal family, the Vatican. For thousands of years, cultures separated by thousands of years and thousands of miles have depicted beings they believe to be gods, okay, using spaceships, giving them advanced technologies. And there's different theories on this, and many people have concluded that yes, these are extraterrestrials. But then when you look at the Nag Hammadi texts, what the Gnostics left behind in 400 AD, discovered in 1945, articulates a dark robotic, Borg-like cyborg drone clone army of demons, basically, that work for the demiurge, which is the equivalent of the Bible Satan. It's very interesting reading, looking at information in that regard, and how these beings have been around for some time. You put that over the other pieces of information about beings that came in different forms with flying machines, given advanced technologies, bringing civilization, bringing language. Oh, what loving gods they are, as depicted on Ancient Aliens. They're constantly making these out to be our creators and our friends. It's all very interesting, considering what we're seeing now, an increase in UFO sightings, but at the same time, it's public that a lot of things that we're seeing with the naked eye, the lights in the sky, UFOs that have certain descriptions, including the flying triangles, it's all military technology, and it's no longer being denied. However, when you look at the overall system of control, you see a level of darkness and manipulation that goes beyond money, that goes beyond simple orthodox power. It's a whole other type of evil. It's a whole other form of control when you turn people against one another through different ways of mind control, of the manipulations of one's senses, one's morals, one's inner guidance. And when you look at the world today and you start seeing the themes of extraterrestrials in movies presented as the good guys and in pop culture, many examples of this. Some people just want to mark it up to some sort of a accident. Oh, that's just her own sexual liberation. When they sing about having sex with aliens, that's not that has nothing to do with something sinister or dark. No, they're just expressing themselves. And a lot of this is new. UFOs and aliens have been depicted in movies for a long time. On the topic of that, in the 1950s, some of the descriptions that we've seen in these movies that are considered to be extremely cheesy are very close, and also including Star Trek, of which I was never a fan of. But if I can ever see the episode Return of the Archons, there is a depiction of the Archons, as described in the Gnostic Nag Hammadi texts. The Gnostics, by the way, that were heavily persecuted by the Roman Catholic Church. So it's very interesting to look into the information that ironically was rediscovered in 1945. A series of codices, incomplete, but enough that is a parallel to what we've seen in a lot of the 1950s movies and a lot of movies since then. This information that's in people's imagination, the Philip K. Dick books, The Matrix. A lot of people have had a hard time with David Icke's theories because a lot of people are uncomfortable with the idea of reptilians. And in the Gnostic worldview, and there's a lot of interesting information about Archons that are on the internet now. Laura Eisenhower has some profound information to share. She is my guest March 9th, 2013. The Archons, as a lot of people believe, are the overlords to the reptilians and greys, which are used as slaves, drones. They're subservient to the Archons. And so a lot of humans that have had encounters with some of these beings, some friendly, some not so friendly, mostly not so friendly, especially if you're going up on a ship. No matter what they're telling you, what information they're giving you in a download, it wasn't done with your free will or volition. And there's a massive interest in Earth women, as it has been before in the past, as it will again. I see this deception, and it's very, very dark and obvious. So I do think for a long time there's been a lot of attempts at hybrid manipulation of the human species, the creation of different life forms, and now we see mainstream science admitting that they're doing this to the food, even crossing the human gene with other genes to create a new form of rice. You can look that article up. It's beyond cloned meat. Came out in 2006. The FDA okayed that. We're already have moved into a very strange arena when it comes to genetic engineering and the food supply. But that aside, there is something Luciferian. There is something, I have to admit, biblical about the devil, the demon, Lucifer, or the Archons. Maybe they're all one and the same. Having a massive interest in manipulating human life forms and using mind control as their way to control people by starting wars and getting us to attack each other, because that's the only power they have. They can't come down. They're not allowed through God's will, potentially, to just slay us and eat us. It's more stealth than that. It's through stage wars. It's through turning men against women. It's through manipulating the food supply so you can manipulate their genetic code. But what has stopped them from fully taking over this force of darkness that's been around for a long time? There are wild cards in the mix. We're fucking souls. There's something different about us. There's something special about us. There's a knowledge inside of us that can connect to the cosmos. There's a reason why we're in these circumstances. That's my theory. That it's a spiritual video game. That we all chose to come here, and this role, whatever we're going through in this world, and there are angels, there are miracles. But the point is, it's not about ascending through a spacecraft coming to do it for us. It's becoming the true powerful beings that we are, creators. We're powerful creators, we're powerful destroyers. We're going to have to create our way out of the shit that's being made right now. And there's so many ways that mankind is behind the New World Order and doesn't realize that it's fueling it. Not just by being a member of certain banks. There's different ways people buy in the system, not just by paying taxes. The way we police each other, the way people put each other's down in so-called normal society. When by this point in time, with all the information we have on the internet, nobody should be calling anybody a conspiracy theorist. It's obvious something's wrong. Now, we're not all going to see things the same way. We have our own perspectives. A lot of conspiracy researchers are not in agreement on a lot of things, especially what's the true evil behind this throne. What is the Wizard of this Oz? So when you look at how deep the programming is, and at least what's possible, people can go into some dark areas of research and come out terrified with that viewpoint that if all this is true, or if all what I am saying is true, then how can there be hope? How can there be a bright side of this? How can there be a future? How can there be a will to live? How can there be a possibility that we can live together independently off the grid and be effective at it despite the drones and all that? How do we deal with the coming food crisis? How do we not just give up and in a way, which happens to many, hate ourselves and blame ourselves and call ourselves a virus and take on the archonic worldview, understanding of what we are? Parasites, garbage, viruses. When in fact, they're the mind viruses. They're the mind parasites. And if we came here with this knowledge and discernment, a lot of people are going, why am I in this realm, knowing these things and being a good person? If they're naive, they could say, oh no, the world can't be like that. I'm so good. I understand. No. I like the president. I like the way he smiles. He makes me feel good inside. He's one of them. He's a Pleiadian. I love this one, don't you? Don't you love the one that Obama is a Pleiadian? And he's part of a secret galactic federation of light. And he's going to wield his golden sword, golden rod, golden wand. And he's just going to turn the tables here any day now. All right, I've digressed too far. There's a Buddhist concept to see things as they are. And as we start seeing things as they are, dark forces come out of the woodwork. And they come through people. And ultimately, we've got to realize that we're responsible for creating independent colonies of freedom. And we've got to find ways to work with each other because they don't want us working with each other. There's power out there on the dark side, and there's also something else. It's these powers, acts of miracles, pure miracles. I've had them in my own life. After hosting the show and way before. I'm not going to talk about that in this video. That was another life within this one. And it was rough. Those late 90s, moving into 2000, and not being on my path at that time, which meant I was involved in other things that was not conducive to the future. And I could feel, to speak generally here, a protective force around me in very bad situations that intervened more than once. And I became conscious of that. And I became conscious of my ability to manifest my way out of the situation that I, in fact, created for myself. And through some of those early experiences and sense of a connection with Source, something aiding me, if you will, something keeping away certain things that could have happened and allowing positive things to happen in my life. It may have been a part of my own subconscious, but there were times where I certainly felt that something was intervening to stop something bad that was happening. And for a while, I mean, it was happening so often that I knew it was happening the entire time, and I would continue my behavior. Until, of course, the universe intervened some more. And I had a little bit of help, finally, getting on the right path. And the information that I've come across, hey, I'm not sitting up here with a projector giving you a lecture as if you're a bunch of students and this is some sort of college university, where you look to me for all the answers. No, I know that's not the case here. I'm just sharing my information, and it may correlate with some of your information, but when we start to see things as they are, and sometimes we see a lot because we're looking in that direction, we should share what we're learning because we're all learning different pieces. We're learning the structure, we're learning the anatomy, we're learning the depth of the different puzzle pieces that make up this dark grid. And we're starting to see ways that the matrix can be hacked with the power of our thoughts. And we can learn these things in our own lives on a microcosmic level through dealing with our own challenges. New World Order aside, what comes first is your own individual ability to manifest things that's also within your reach.